Mr. Prime Minister, Chief Solly announced this morning a surge in contained strategy, 150 more officers to address the lawlessness happening in Ottawa from this convoy. Do you believe these measures could have been put in place much sooner?
Well, I think it's encouraging, and I had a very productive discussion with Mayor Watson last night, after which I was able to verify that the RCMP will be adding some additional resources at the request of the Chief of Police for Ottawa, and of course they remain the police of jurisdiction. I will say that I am concerned about the interruptions that are being caused to Ottawa residents. You have many families who are being put out. They can't get their kids to daycare. You have many shops and businesses which remain closed. You have seniors and disabled people who can't get around because they don't have access to public transportation. And we are hearing many reports, very disconcerting reports about young women who are being harassed, who are being intimidated. And I think that the prospects for confrontation remain high. And as a result of that, look, the folks who live here in Ottawa have a right to expect that the law is enforced. I think that the announcement this morning is reassuring to the extent that there will be greater police presence. And of course, all of that is at the independent operational decision of the police of jurisdiction.
Do you believe the convoy transporting gas tanks and propane in the streets by wheelbarrow is safe? And do you believe the propane tanks and fuel stocked at the makeshift building at Confederation Park is safe?
Well, the reports of those canisters and jerry cans of gasoline are very concerning, and those concerns have been expressed. We will look to the police to enforce. And as I say, people who live in the community here, whether it's downtown or elsewhere, are, I think, experiencing a heightened sense of the need for enforcement. And when you see people who are carrying out those gasoline canisters, or whether they're the propane tanks, et cetera, I know that the police are looking to act quickly, but those decisions have to be taken independently by them.
I know how you said the law enforced here is separate from the government in terms of the decisions made, so you kind of have to walk that balance and that fine line there. But you know, the Prime Minister has said many things about this convoy. What are your views on it?
Well, I have a number of views. I mean, I think first and foremost, to the suggestion that we need to engage Canadians, this is a government that has a very strong track record of engaging Canadians throughout the pandemic. We've been laying out very transparently the foundation for the decisions and the public health measures that we put in place, including vaccinations. And the science overwhelmingly demonstrates that if you are boosted, you are half as likely to be infected. If you are boosted, you are well over 90% less likely to have to go to the hospital and or die. And so that is the reason why we believe that vaccinations is the path out of the pandemic, to lift restrictions, to get back to life as normal. Now, as an individual who lives in a democracy, you're entitled to hold a different view. But what you're not entitled to do is to not follow the law. No one is above the law. And I think that the many reports that we're hearing in Ottawa from people who live here, who work here, who are trying to raise their families, who are trying to get around, is that they can't enjoy those freedoms. And so the way that we're going to get out of this pandemic is not only to follow the science, but to do what we always do, which is look after each other. And it would be nice to see more of that, I think, from everyone. Thanks very much.
Sorry, just one more question. And do you have any comment with regards to the interim leader of the Conservatives with regard to those emails talking about the convoy and keeping them here to continue to cause a problem for the Prime Minister?
Well, I read the report. I think it's that says that there was an email that came out from the interim leader that says that at some point over the last number of days that she suggested against telling the convoy demonstrators to go home. I think it's very concerning. I think that I will let her answer for that email as to whether or not it's true, the veracity of it, et cetera. But I was encouraged to see Pierre-Paul Houze from the Conservative Party of Canada today explicitly call on the demonstrators to go home, because I think he shares the concern that I've shared and that I know our caucus shares around the heightened degree of the need for safety for those who live in Ottawa. And certainly, I think that is one area where we should all remain united. Canadians have a right to expect that the law will be followed. That is one of the pillars of our democracy, and no one is above the law. Thank you very much.
Biden's Conservative Party with regards to the convoy.
I'm sorry?
Do you believe there's a divide within the Conservative Party on this convoy?
Well, all I can tell you is that we saw Pierre-Paul Hughes this morning make a statement encouraging those who are participating in the convoy to go home, and I'll let the Conservative Party speak for itself. Thanks.